it's time for another Gencon preview. I'm Alex Radcliffe from the YouTube channel Board Game Co., and this is the second Gencon preview we are doing. If you missed the first one, I did one on 15 small box games that you should try or buy at Gencon 2025. And today we're back with 15 larger box games that you should try or buy at Gencon 2025. Technically I have 16, I do have a bonus pick today. I'll explain why it's a bonus pick, and then we'll dive into the rest of them. But as usual, this is going to be sourced from the BGG Gencon preview page. Currently there are 569 titles at the moment. Honestly, I didn't check for like the most recent ones. If we go to sort and more recent, because sometimes there's like newer ones. Recent. Actually, I don't recently added. There we go. Because there's like Toy Battle, Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, like I should change this list already. I should change this list. There's more. There's more games here that Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit informally. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the 16 games that I recommend, and then, because 15 plus a bonus pick, and then we're going to go through the recently added, because apparently they added more, and it's too late. I started the video. I can't stop and start again. That would be crazy. So we're just going to go ahead and finish this video, and at the end, we will live go through some that I recommend that are recently added. Anyways, with that, we're going to start off with our bonus pick. Our bonus pick is number 16, and that's Innovation Ultimate. This is a bonus pick because technically Innovation was in the small box games already. I gave it, I think, like number 2 spot in the small box games. These are ordered in terms of least to most, how much I like them, how much I recommend them, like them, all of that. And so Innovation Ultimate still gets a bonus pick over here because Innovation Ultimate's a bigger box game, but small box Innovation already got placement in the last one, so I can't just throw it in twice, so I'll throw it in as a bonus pick. Innovation is fantastic, love it, huge fan of the game. In general, if you like the sheer craziness, the chaos of playing through a ton of cards as you work your way through a civilization game, Innovation Ultimate really delivers an excellent experience. But from there, we're going to go through 15 more. We have Nature. Nature is the newest version of Evolution. Again, I always say it's the evolution of Evolution, but it's the newest version. There was Evolution Climate, there was Oceans, and now we have Nature. Nature, in my opinion, is the best of the category. It is still Evolution. I think if you didn't like Evolution, I don't think Nature is going to change your mind, but if you like any parts of Evolution, I think Nature is the best version of it. Meaning, if you like the concept of Evolution but have specific complaints, then this is where Nature can come in. If you didn't like Evolution at all, it's a different story. But basically, you're going to be choosing different modules to pair together as you try to build up various traits on your species and gain the most points across the course of the game. We have Citizens of the Spark from Thunderworks Games. This is a fun one, a new one from them. It's very Dominion adjacent as you're playing these stacks of cards, trying to utilize abilities. There's going to be different combinations of cards in the game, and you have to try to figure out which ones to build up in front of you as you build little stacks of like 3 cards in front of you, getting increasingly stronger abilities as you go. Again, I think the comparison I give is Dominion. If you like games like Dominion, this is definitely one to check out. Galactic Cruise, this one barely needs an introduction at this point, doing incredibly well, 8.5 on BGG, ranked at 502, which again, for a crowdfunding game, that's incredibly impressive because it takes a while to get those copies into like people's hands and them to see it and try it and all that. I do think this is going to continue to grow. I would not be surprised if it ends up being a top 100 game eventually, although that will take time. So like, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not there yet. This new crowdfunding campaign they have coming up is certainly not going to hurt it as well, because it's going to get it into more hands as well. But Galactic Cruise, incredibly well received. A worker placement game as you take your people onto these giant space cruises. Very, very well done. Very Lacerda-like in its design and its approach and all the things, and very Lacerda-like in how well it has been received as well. Speaking of those big box Lacerda games that aren't Lacerda games, we have Luthier coming in at 8.2. Luthier, again, this one is just getting into people's hands now, I believe, or soon. It's getting into people's hands soon. I believe they haven't done full shipping to the US yet, but it has started to go out. Copies are in the wild. Again, at 8.2 at the moment. I assume that 5,385 is going to grow because it hasn't fully been distributed yet. It is in that process at the moment. But from Patterson Games, who did Distill, who again incredibly well received, both Kinson Key and Patterson Games, companies that knocked it out of the park from their first get-go. But Luthier is a game of building musical instruments. Very well done. Again, it's a worker placement-ish game, but with a degree of hidden worker placement, hidden values as you go. Lots to juggle as you try to fill the orchestra with all of your instruments. We have How to Save a World from Burnt Island Games. This is another worker placement game, so 3 worker placement games in a row, all with different twists. Galactic Cruise, is, I guess, more standard, although there's linked areas to it. Luthier is about the hidden worker placement to a degree, and How to Save a World is going to be moving workers. Workers are going to be moving, shuttling back and forth, so as you place them, you're kind of committing to where they're going to go next on these different planetary areas of the board. All all as you work together to save the world by investing in either evacuating the planet, planetary shields, or blowing up the asteroid, trying to figure out which way you can actually save the world. We have Cretaceous Rails, a 7.9 over here. This is again another new one that's just getting to people's hands. Cretaceous Rails generally been well received so far. Another worker placement game with another twist. That's not intentional, but we have 4 games in a row that are worker placement games with a twist. In the case of Cretaceous Rails, the twist is going to be the shared action selection system. So you can kind of see it a bit in this photo over here. It's going to be a little action, a square 4x4 grid of actions, and as you place your workers down, you're placing it onto one of the intersections, so you take 2 actions, but it's also blocking off that specific pairing. So trying to figure out how to take the actions you need as you build up your tableau, because it's very satisfying to build up your tableau in this game. Lots of crazy powers, all as you craft these dinosaur tours in this world of Jurassic Park adjacent. That's Cretaceous Rails, very solid game. We have Western Legend Stories. This one is not out yet. I don't believe it's being sold. I think it's being demoed at Gencon. I have to double check that one. But Western Legend Stories from Colossal Games. I like legacy-ish games, and this is definitely legacy-ish. It's a campaign. I believe it's 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 6 splitting episodes? It's going to be like a tutorial. Then I think it's a tutorial plus 6, but it might be a tutorial and then 5 more. I don't remember. But it's basically a sort of semi-campaign, semi-legacy as you go through these build-up of the game as you unlock different things and go through this narrative based on the choices you make, based on the interactions you have. Whether you go to the forest, whether you go to the merchant, different things will trigger different events and move the story in different directions you play through it. I don't believe it's full legacy, so it's not like you don't destroy things as you go through it. I think it's more campaign and resettable, but that's Western Legend Stories. Very solid version of Western Legends. Then there's Dante Inferno. Dante Inferno, not out yet, but from Creative Game Studios. This is a boss battle experience where you're going to be taking control of your characters and then going through the stories of Dante Inferno, going through alternating a degree of kind of story narrative as you walk into the dungeon crawler, and then dive into the, not really dungeon crawler, more of a boss fight in this kind of map. You're going to be facing off against these variety of bosses. I've only played against the first boss because that's all they had in the prototype, but I really enjoyed this one. You felt powerful, you felt strong, you felt like you're having a lot of fun. I think I played at Gencon for the first time 2 years ago, is when I first played it, before it was ever on crowdfunding. I really liked it back then, and I've continued to like it so far, and now I'm just waiting for the final copy. We have Kemet, Rise of the Gods. Kemet is always a game it's been in my top 100 since I've played this game. Granted, it was in my top 20 for like 4 or 5 years, and then it moved to my, top 100. It shifted down, but it's still my top 100. It still delivers an excellent area control game of powers and abilities left, right, and center. You're going to have tons of powers, tons of abilities, and Rise of the Gods introduced not just a big box, but it also introduced a I believe this was a 2 new, I'm trying to remember if it's 2, I think it might have been 3 new power colors, but one of them was sort of a remnant of Seth, if I'm not mistaken, but redone for this game. So at this point, you're at something like 7 different colors of powers, which gives you a ton of replayability to your Kemet experience if you thought you knew the combos that worked well. If you're like, oh yeah, I take these 2 from red, that one from white, and this from blue. If you got used to what works for you in Kemet, having 7 different pools of power tiles, and you only have certain ones available in each game, that's going to majorly mix up your experience and force you and your friends to re-examine how you play through this bloodthirsty area control game. We have Parks Second Edition. I haven't played Parks Second Edition yet, but I have played Parks. I do need to play Parks Second Edition. It's actually on the table behind me over one of the. It's over there. It's over there. Anyways, Parks Second Edition. This is a redone version of Parks that combines the expansions all in one deluxe copy of the game, giving it a bigger box, better storage, and again, everything kind of all in one, which makes sense. Parks been around for a long time, been very well received, and it makes sense they finally got a second edition of the game. I hope to be playing it soon. I'm actually hoping to play it today. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm hoping to play it today. But it's basically a kind of game one of the things I've always liked about Parks is how accessible it can be, and yet how cutthroat it can be too. You can play it with gateway gamers, and you can play it with your game group with nothing held back at all as you play. Delightful little game of just moving around, filling your canteen, and gathering the resources you need to visit the various national parks. That, at its core, that's all you're doing. But the actual decision space can be incredibly tense, incredibly tight, as players block each other, choose when to use their campfires, choose which powers and abilities they have, all of those, alternating the timing of their campers. There's a lot going on in Parks. We have the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of Second Era, 485 rank so far, 9.1, and again, that's incredibly impressive for a game that is a $200 price point to get into it, but this game has been very well received. I'm a huge fan of it. I think Chip Theory Games knocked it out of the park as far as, again, another incredibly in-depth game that gives you a ton of gameplay, a ton of building out your characters, a very rewarding experience of just feeling powerful as you go through this 3-campaign arc, built in the world of the Elder Scrolls, built on the rough bones of Too Many Bones, so if you like that in any way, I think you'll like this one. I think they definitely have some common DNA going on, while being very, very different, so that if you wanted both, there's room in your collection for both. Elder Scrolls, fantastic game, highly recommend it. check it out at Gencon, but also be prepared. Don't get this one if you are flying home, because buy it online. Get it shipped if you are flying home. Everdell Silverfrost. This is the newest version of Everdell from Starling Games. I've enjoyed all versions of Everdell so far. I enjoyed Everdell. I've enjoyed Everdell Farshore, and I've enjoyed Everdell Silverfrost. Now, I will say the same thing I have always said about Farshore and Silverfrost. You don't need these additional games unless you're a huge fan of the system. I think that they are similar enough to base Everdell that you are covered on base Everdell. But if you are a huge fan of Everdell, or if you're looking to get into Everdell for the first time, although honestly, I think if you're looking for Everdell for the first time, I'd almost recommend Farshore as a great entry point to Everdell. I think, and I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's like too easy in that sense. It's not like gateway friendly. It's just, I think it's a good entry point to the Everdell universe. I think Silverfrost has a drop meter as far as what it's doing, which makes it kind of, in a weird way, the hardest one to recommend, because Farshore I'd recommend if you're just looking to get into Everdell for the first time. Everdell, I always recommend plain and simple. All of these I recommend if you're a fan of Everdell, but Silverfrost is a weird one because if you aren't a fan of Everdell, it wouldn't be my first recommendation, and if you like Everdell but don't feel the need to own 3 copies, then I don't think I'd recommend it. It's only if you really like Everdell where I'd recommend Silverfrost. My enjoyment of the game, loved it. Absolutely loved Silverfrost, had a lot of fun with it, I played it a whole bunch, and I'm excited to get a final copy of it to be able to play it more. But that comes with the caveat that I am a huge Everdell fan, and I think I'm a very specific target audience. So it's a weird one. It's a weird one because I both really recommend it, but to almost a specific target audience. I would say if you're not a huge Everdell fan, this is very much a try before you buy. If you are a huge Everdell fan, then let's get it. It's more Everdell, and it's good, and I do think they did a good job with the game. Moving on from there, we have Brink. Brink from Ivy Studio. I don't love that cover. It's one of my least favorite covers from an Ivy Studio game, but it's one of my favorite games from an Ivy Studio game. Brink is basically worker placement. Again, another twist on worker placement. We have a lot of games that are doing worker placement today. This is, in fact, our last one. Our number 1 is also worker placement, but this is Brink. Brink is a worker placement game in which you're placing your ships out onto the planets, taking the actions of the intersections of the planets, depending on your level 1, 2, or 3 ship, taking 1, 2, or 3 actions across 3 rounds of play, all while negotiating with the other players in terms of the resources that are up for trade, and how you're going to work your way towards your specific goals in the game. Very well done game. Had a lot of fun with this one. I'm looking forward to the final version of it. This is Brink from Ivy Studios. Then we have Cyclades. Cyclades Legendary Edition. This is our number 2 pick so far. Cyclades is absolutely amazing. My favorite area control game on this list. I think I have a few. There's so many amazing area control games. In my top 15 games, I think I have Inish, Cyclades, and DEI, and Rurik. I think I have those 4 as my area control games in my top 15 games, and they are all absolute bangers of a game. I mean, Kemet's great. Kemet's great, make no mistake, but my top 4 are Rurik, DEI, Cyclades, and Inish. Those are the best area control games that I can possibly recommend, and Cyclades Legendary Edition is a better version of Cyclades. They did a good job incorporating the expansions, incorporating all the right things. I think the original art of Cyclades is still near and dear to my heart. This art I like. I like this art. I just like the original art more. But overall, Cyclades is fantastic, and Cyclades Legendary Edition is just a good way to get into the system, giving you a bunch of, again, expansions and content similar to Parks Recognition. It kind of mixes and matches things together to give you a single definitive version of the game, and I think they did a good job with that single definitive version of the game. Definitely recommend this one if you like area control, if you like Greek gods, if you like bidding. The bidding in this game is so much fun. The fact that you have to bid for your ability to move troops, to influence the sphere of the board. Like if you want to move your ships around the board, you have to get Poseidon. You have to bid for Poseidon in order to get control of the seas. And if you don't get control of the seas, someone else gets control of the seas that round. So that kind of tension in the game means you have to manage your economy, because your economy is the key to everything, to being able to afford which actions you do. Now, don't get me wrong, you're always going to get the abilities of some god each round, so you always get to do something. The question is, do you get to do what you wanted to do, what is the key for your victory, or are you relegated to whatever the other players let you afford to do because they had more money than you? Very well done game. Absolutely adore it. I need to play this one more. Cyclades is fantastic. And then my number 1 is Lost Winds of Arnak Adventure Chest. I believe they're going to have copies of this at the show, so if you missed out on the pre-order period, I believe they said they are going to have some copies of Lost Winds of Arnak Adventure Chest at Gen Con, so definitely check this one out. Again, this is the last worker placement one. Lost Winds of Arnak, one of my favorite games. It's been in my top 10 last year, the year before. I think it'll continue to stay there. It's just one of those game experiences I continuously come back to again and again and again. The expansions they've been putting out have only helped that, making it more and more likely for me to continue to return with a more variety of content, more characters, a little bit of a mini campaign. There's so much going on in the adventure chest. I've had a chance to play the adventure chest. It comes with a new board and a new map that gives you kind of a corruption mechanic, that gives you something else to toy with. I love Lost Winds of Arnak. I've played the base game on its own, plain vanilla base game. I've probably played 50 plus times, and then plus another 50 plays of the various other stuff. I've played a lot of Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's not a game that I'm like amazing at. Like some games I play a lot, I get really, really good at. Some games I just do fine at. I'm fine at Lost Ruins of Arnak. I think my problem is I like the cards too much because I love cards and the abilities they provide, and it's not always the best pathway forward. You want to be managing the monsters on the temple track, which I do, but not as much as I do the cards. Anyways, Lost Ruins of Arnak Adventure Chest, I highly recommend Lost Ruins of Arnak as a game, and if you like Lost Ruins of Arnak, I highly recommend the Adventure Chest, both for the storage as well as for the corruption map going on there too. And so those are my 15 plus 1 innovation of my recommendations of games to check out at Gen Con, which means now it's time for that part where I said I'm going to return to the start and check out the new ones, and let's talk about the new things added to the Geek Preview list. So, I'm not going to be going over everything, I'm just going over the things that stand out. Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship, this absolutely would have made the cut. I absolutely would have put Fate of the Fellowship into this video, no questions asked, 100%. The Hobbit There and Back Again, I would have put in this video. I've had a chance to play both these games. I own Fate of the Fellowship. I've played There and Back Again. These would both have made the cut. I'm sorry, Nature. I'm sorry, Citizens of the Spark. You would have been bumped out. So I guess they got lucky that they're still here because those would have been bumped out. Ink is great. I had a chance to play this once on BGA. Had a lot of fun with it. I think it would have made its way into this video. I'm pretty sure it would have. It would have been bumping out Galactic Cruise. Oh my gosh, that's much harder. So I'm not sure if Ink would have made its way into the video, but it maybe. Depends on more plays. But Ink is definitely one that I very much enjoyed. Anything else that's new here that I missed? I mean, there's a lot of things that I knew, but I'm trying to think new that would have made their way into the cut. Removal, Karak Labyrinth, Karak 2, Chaos. Maybe not. Maybe those first few are the main ones that I think really stand out. Not to be clear, games that stand out as games that I know and have tried and have enjoyed. Logic and Lore, honestly, Logic and Lore should have made its way into my small box games video, because I did a small box games video in general. Oh my gosh, we have Reigns of Disney Lacana Raiders of Jafar, whatever. We have Logic and Lore would have made its way into my small box recommendations. I had a chance to play this one twice at CharCon. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it more. And I think that's kind of good enough. We got some more things, some more stuff. We have Minecraft Builders and Biomes Junior, but I think Builders and Biomes are already like that. We have Gloomies, Horrified, lots of other things showing up on this list over here, but I think that is Battle Monsters. Haven't played that one. Not as excited about it. Excited for the place for all my books. This one should really go into my other. I have more videos coming. Anyways, I think this is where we'll stop it, because this is enough. Casinopolis, lots of things. That is basically it. That is your Gen Con preview. Gen Con preview video number 2. I'll be back with a third Gen Con preview, which is going to be the games that I want to know the most about. Those are games I haven't played that I want to find out more about because I'm excited to find out more about. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.